Welcome guys, another episode of Bed Wars. So I had a game idea of like, you can capture land and build your own kingdom and you can buy land and stuff like that. But here's the problem, if you like to have specific plots and you want plot protection or whatever, you want to be able to register the land, but it's not like previously loaded chunks or anything, you could do like, oh hey, you have a unique item and now this item, it has custom data or something like that for each player, and that's how they get land. You see, there's a problem with that, and I don't think I actually explained anything there. So you can use a check for items to see like special data on items to, you know, get more than just the creative mode list of items, because that's pretty limited. And also, then you'd have like, oh, I just got a gold ingot and that's the item, woohoo, infinite land for me. So you wouldn't want like anything like that. But anyway, so you could use a command that would summon deny blocks, and that would, you know, be deny blocks stop you from mining, by the way. And then, well, bam, that's plot protection. And then you hold the item and they become allow blocks. But you have to check for that. And, you know, you need commands to do that. I already have enough items. I could already start going to mid. I'm a genius. I paid great attention to everything. Incredible. Incredible. I want to go after red because they made a move. Die! No. They're both making moves. You know what? You two can fight. You have wood. They have that. Please say they're fighting. Please say they're fighting. I don't have to deal with players. And die. Alright. No, purple's after my bed. Okay. That's fine. No! Okay. Cool. I just have to deal with two players simultaneously. Nah, that's no big deal. He has terracotta with 1 weak spot of wood. He died in the void. Okay, we have time. Break. I want to talk about the subject. Okay, wait, he had spawn protection. That's why they didn't count. I'm a genius. But anyway, so yeah, you could use an item, but that means you have to have a unique item for every single player, and you have to have checks for that. And that's a lot of work. And that adds up to being a lot of commands, because if you have like 40 players, you can imagine that to be like 60 commands minimum. Well, actually, no, 40 commands minimum. That's a lot of commands. That's a whole lot, and that can just build up. And then if you want more complicated stuff, that gets even more complicated. So I wanted to think of like an idea, because my friend Theo, he wanted to have plots, and that's where this really began. Is he wanted plots in a game. You know what? I think I'm gonna want other stuff, because I don't even have a bed. It might be smart to actually get stuff like a pickaxe, which costs 20 gold. That's way too much, man. Why is it so expensive? Alright, anyway, so, I lost my train of thought. But yeah, Theo, he wanted to have custom plots that the players could get for like a sky gen or something like that. I don't remember. You know, usually you just have preset areas where you just literally give a specific player name access to a plot. Name equals the username. Bam. Done. It's completed. I wanted iron armor, and now I realize, you know what, a pearl's gonna be way better. Along with a diamond sword, because sharpness no longer matters, because someone broke my bed. I'm fine with that. Everything's cool. Alright, we need a pearl. That's right, we need a pearl. I'm smart. I also forgot the other thing I needed. Let's just get 2 pearls. I don't know what else I needed. Anyway, so I got an idea, and it's much more complicated. Oh my god, I cannot speak. It's much more complicated because it has to be. If it is anything more than a simple generator, it has to be 10,000 IQ plays. Alright, that's how this game works. Oh, Oh, that was a bad idea. Running to someone who has iron armor and a skeleton. And this game sucks. Ah, ah. Nope. No, goodbye. Easy. Not even close. And it was a perfect game. Okay. Cool. Anyways, like I was saying, so here's my thought process. I can use a scoreboard because scoreboards are great. It's pretty much just a math tool. So you can do a lot more stuff with it. And, okay, in Java, I'm sure this would be extremely easy to have some sort of plot protection or something like that. But in Bedrock Edition, no, it's not easy, especially if you're, using commands, which is what I'm going to be using. And I want it to be lag efficient. I want it to support as many players as I want, and I don't want to have to make a command for every single new player. That's just, no. So, I got to thinking of an idea. So first up, we can use a scoreboard and assign a new score to each player. This makes them unique. Are you after my bed? I'm not a fan of that. Not a fan of that at all. Quickly, buy armor, good. I couldn't sprint. Destroyed. He didn't stand a chance. Yeah, so anyways. Yeah, if we assign a score to each player, that works, because if you have an operation, there's an operation that can check for if a score is equal to another score. But here's the thing, if you want to do that, you're going to need an entity usually, or a name that doesn't exist, to go off of, so you have to have a score already exist somewhere else, if you want to use it. Or you have to create that score. But you see, you want it to work for specifically a plot. That means the plot needs a score. And so I came up with an idea. So if we summon an armor stand, because of course armor stands are, if you ever watch Seth Bling, armor stands solve all your problems. All of them. If you want to do something, use an armor stand. I don't know why Sprint is just very broken right now. Why? Yeah, you can go over to that. And I can go over to your bed as you fall off the map like a god. Incredible. No, you're not knocking me off. Maybe he is. I wanted to break the bed. That was too greedy. Too greedy in one kill. Yeah. Alright. Yeah, do the Neo. Can I do the Neo? No, I couldn't. I had to place blocks. I'm bad. Alright, so anyways, what I could do is I could use the idea of a Turing machine. You see, a Turing machine just reads a bit of code on like a line or something like that, and you can use an armor stand to check for what block it's on. So if I were to say, hey, if this armor stand is on red concrete, increase the score. Okay, I have to deal with this guy. No. Actually, yes, you are supposed to walk off the map. Good sir. Alright. Yeah, if I were to be like, armor stand, I need you to see if there's red concrete. And every time someone places a plot, it just places a bunch of blocks. Okay, he just gave up on that. Anyways, like I was saying, every time someone places a plot, they have to use like an item or something. It's just the same item for everyone. It's the same item for everyone. But it'll look at what their score is. And then an armor stand will place a bunch of colorful blocks that the player cannot interfere with at all. Hopefully can't interfere with. And those blocks, so if it's like red concrete, that score will mean 1. And if they have a score of like 11, you could do like 11 red concrete, but I prefer hexadecimal, which is 16 digits or something like that. 0 to F. Or is it 0 to E? Oh god, I can't remember. Pretty sure it's 0 to F. Oh, I don't count with hexadecimal usually. I use base 10. I'm boring, I know. I wanted to place that plank slightly forward. It adds a lot of defense. Alright, there we go. But anyways, I use hexadecimal when I'm using commands because it's very useful if I'm using blocks to do that. It compresses it so much. It does add extra commands, but it compresses the work later. It's great. It's so great. Oh wait, we have the perfect amount of iron. Awesome. I grabbed extra iron anyways, though. Okay, so anyways. I forgot what I was thinking, and I placed blocks in front of my face, and I have to jump now, and I'm not making any good decisions. No! No! There we go. Goodbye. You get to die. Anyways, so it would place a bunch of blocks, and that would be equal to their score. So now we have identified the player in just a few commands. And that's for every single player. So now we can just have a check for if the player has the score. If they have the matching score, then bing bang boom, they unlock the plot. Bam! They can now have a plot. And we can give players the same score if they're in the same guild. It's genius. I hit him while using the void. That was kind of pointless. But I wanted to. Violence. Yeah! Yeah! It's a great idea to go into a hole you can't get out of. Yeah! 10,000 IQ plays, by the way. Skywars. This isn't Skywars, this is Bed Wars. Bed Wars players are, you know, just Skywars players with the ability to respawn, though, so... I need him to be somewhere else, so we're just gonna... Alright, he exists now. He decided to go the long route. I'm not sure why he would do that, but you know what? That's fine by me. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we just needed to get him off so we have enough time to break Terracotta, because I hate Terracotta! And it's broken. Just like his heart. And his dreams. And his face. Okay, it was actually his back I hit, but... Close enough. Nah. Nah. Alright. Wee! Alright. But anyways, now we can check where the player is. So we say, okay, they have a score of 11. The armor stand will move a certain amount of distance. And we'll go, okay, I now will apply a score to myself, says the armor stand, depending on their score. And if my score is equal to his score, then, well, the plot is unlocked. It's like a key, and it works. It works, and you have guilds. And it'll always, there's going to be an armor stand at spawn that cannot ever be destroyed, and it will always tick up with every single player, and then it will give the new player a score. It makes everyone unique. It works. It's gonna work. I think it's a great idea. And then we can have like kingdoms and stuff, and you can make plots purchasable. It's a great idea. It's a great idea. I'm very proud of myself for it. I haven't made it yet. Because, you know, I'm lazy. Don't judge me. I come up with the ideas. Do I make them? Usually not. No. I just like thinking of how to do it. Also, I think I should probably go after one of the teams. Who is the one who's light blue? Yeah, we're gonna go after you because you appear to be sentient. A dangerous trait. Alright. I want stuff to actually go after him, so let's grab stuff. Yeah, if you have any ideas for the game, leave a comment on like what I could add with this, and then I might think of a way to, you know, code that. I thought your bed was broken, and I'm getting destroyed. Why are you after me? Why are you after me? Okay. That's fine. We got him. No! No! You better not have a hatchet. You better not have a hatchet. I'm just gonna, you know, place a block. Why can't I... No. Okay. I messed all of that up, but it didn't even matter because I'm just too good at video games. No. You wanted to strafe me, boy? Not happening. Too good at video games. Get destroyed. Haha. I don't even know what's going on here. They just... Nope. Nope. Destroyed. We win. Not happening. No. What was that? Hey, I didn't queue for another game. Okay. Whatever. But anyways, that's it. That's my idea for like how to have plots be a thing that can be custom. So we generate a score for each player, and then it checks for that score, and it does like /fill for deny, and then /fill for bedrock, and then /fill for another layer of deny to protect the other deny blocks and the other code blocks, because we don't want to have commands in every single one because that generates lag. And if we use something like concrete blocks, that's just literally just 2 bytes. In a world, a block is just 2 bytes of code, but a command block is significantly more, especially when it's active versus dormant. And these ones would have to be active, so 10,000 IQ plays right here. We can have checks that just use blocks, and that's way more lag efficient. So, I don't know why I made this a video, but it was just like, I was interested in this, man. I wanted to come up with a solution because, you know, Theo, he wanted plots, came up with a solution, and now I want a game that uses those plots. And like I said, if you have any suggestions for this game, just leave them in the comments, because I'm sure I can peer pressure Super Magician, subscribe to Super Magician, by the way, into helping me make this, so please subscribe. Bye.